Hello and welcome to Yoga with Adriann White at the Community Arts Center of Cambria County. We are here every Tuesday and Thursday afternoon at 1 o'clock and Tuesday evenings at 6 p.m. So I'd like to welcome all the folks who came in person and all of you who are watching us through the Community Arts Center's YouTube channel. Let's start our yoga practice today by relaxing. Sometimes that's what we need the most, and yet it can be the most challenging thing to do. So that's why I begin every yoga class with what I call an opening relaxation. It's our opportunity to make that transition from our day-to-day busy schedules to slow down, to remind us that we've come to yoga to relax, to de-stress, and to stretch and gently strengthen. Part of our opening relaxation is truly slowing down. We slow our bodies and come to rest, whether we're sitting in a comfortable position or whether we're laying on our backs in corpse pose. And to help us settle our minds and our thoughts, I invite everyone to close your eyes. Hopefully you are in a place where you feel safe with the eyelids closed. And now as we shut out the visual distractions of the world outside of us, it makes it easier for us to turn our focus inward, to center our attention on our own individual selves. And part of what we want to notice is the feeling of our breath, feeling the air as it moves through the nostrils and the sinuses, through the throat and into the chest, and then feeling that used breath flowing back out again. Each breath that we take is an exchange. We breathe in fresh oxygen, the oxygen that fuels our cells and our muscles and our bodies. And as our lungs extract that oxygen, we breathe it out. We breathe away our carbon dioxide, releasing it back into the atmosphere. Let's take our time breathing in through the nose so that we can fill our lungs fully, from the bottom, through the middle, and all the way up to the top of the lungs. And then on the breath out, take all the time that you need, emptying your lungs totally and completely by exhaling through the nose or the mouth. If you're laying on your back on your mat in corpse pose, allow the back of your neck to relax, feeling the floor supporting your head, allowing the points of your shoulders to roll back. And an easy way to do that is to turn your hands palms up and open those hands a good 12 to 18 inches away from the side of your body. Letting gravity pull the shoulders gently down to the ground. And then can we let ourselves roll to the outer edges of the heels of our feet, relaxing through the lower back, the glutes and the hips. And just feel your breath flowing in. And feel your breath flowing out. As we let gravity gently sink us into the support of the floor. If you'd like, check in with the muscles and the joints of your body, maybe starting at your forehead, noticing is there any tension in your forehead? If there is, can we breathe it away? And then what are we feeling in the muscles of our cheeks and our jaws? If you're gritting your teeth, if you're clenching your jaws, can you relax? How's the back of the neck, the top of the shoulders? to areas where we tend to carry a lot of tension. Notice what you find. And then scan down the arms to the tips of your fingers. Noticing how you feel in those muscles and joints. When that's done, scan down through your torso, your ribs and your chest, your abdomen and your belly, your lower back. Scan down through the glutes and the buttocks, through the hips and the legs, all the way down to the tips of your toes, the soles of your feet. Remembering that what we're finding is neither good nor bad. We're not judging it. We are exploring through our body with compassion and kindness to notice those places where we would like to feel better than what we currently feel. As we continue with our long, slow breaths, let's go ahead and start by creating some stretch for the upper back and the neck. To do that, we can lace our fingers behind the center back of our head, resting our head in our hands. And then we'll tuck our forearms in against our temples, bringing our elbows as close to each other as we can so that our hands and arms make a cradle to support our head. And our hands lift the head up off the mat. And then gently tuck the chin to your collarbones so that your elbows are pointing down beyond your feet. And can we enjoy that gentle lengthening in the back of the neck? As our elbows point forward, can we feel a little stretch behind our collarbones across our upper back? Can we feel a little stretch where our arms meet the body at our shoulders, what we call the points of our shoulders? And how's that gentle stretch between the shoulder blades? Trying to open up that space where we carry most of our tension and see if we can let that tension just drip away. When you're ready, on a breath out, the hands can carefully lower the head back down. And as we relax, we let elbows open wide. How low to the ground can your arms sink? And in the process, enjoy that stretch across the front of your shoulders, opening up an area where we tend to hunch a lot, an area where we tend to unconsciously tighten because of poor posture. So feel that gentle stretch and breathe into all that openness that you are creating. We'll do a second stretch for the neck. So on the breath out, again, we'll tuck forearms in against the temples, elbows point to each other, hands lift the head up, and tuck the chin forward. You may notice I still have my shoulder blades down to the ground. Now, if you would like to add some length to lower back, an option would be at this point to bend the knees, putting the soles of both feet and the small of your back flat to the mat. Those of you that want a little more stretch for lower back can add the option of bringing both knees up towards the elbows and using the strength of our abdominal muscles to gently curl our tailbone to point up to the ceiling. So now we're lengthening upper and lower backs at the same time. When you're ready, we'll carefully have the hands lower the head back down to the ground, breathing in to open elbows, fronts of shoulders, front of chest. On a next breath in, we can slowly return our feet to the mat, noticing how as our feet lower, our tailbone also wants to point down to the ground and the small of our back arches. On a breath out, release that arch Again, seeing if we can relax our back flat to the mat. From here, we can inhale to open knees out to the sides, letting the soles of our feet rest against each other as we turn the outer edges of our feet and our ankles down to the ground. And we are in what is called reclining bound angle pose. Now noticing the stretch that's happening in the muscles of your inner thighs. Noticing how we're opening at the hip socket. Again, we continue our long, slow breaths. When you're ready, we'll put the feet flat to the floor again, small of the back down. And one more time, let's tuck forearms to temples. Have the hands and arms lift the head up, tucking chin to collarbones. Again, if you would like, there's the option to bring the knees up to the elbows, curling the tailbone up a little higher. Anyone that would like to have a little strength in the abdominal muscles, your option is to see if we can bring left knee and right elbow towards each other and inhale to extend through flexed right heel, holding that right heel 1 inch to 2 to 3 above the floor. Remembering hands and arms are supporting the head, and we're trying to bring left knee and right elbow towards each other as we keep the small of our back supported down to the mat. We can switch sides, bringing right knee in, and now engaging left elbow and right knee as we press out through our opposite left heel. Again, nice, strong abdominals. Remembering that while we're holding the pose, we're still breathing in and out as slowly and as smoothly as we can. One last time, let's bring knees and elbows towards each other. We'll inhale to rest the head down. Open the elbows. And exhale in relief. And again, we'll inhale to return feet and small of back to the mat. And then open the knees. Again, relaxing in our reclining bound angle pose. One of the things that we work towards, in addition to flexibility, gentle strength, and stress management, is balance. And balance isn't just the ability to stand still on one foot. We just did a lot of hard work with strength. Now we balance the hard work with an opportunity to rest some of our muscles, like our abdominal and inner thigh and shoulder muscles, to soften and lengthen. Again, the balance between work and rest, the balance between length and strength. From here, we'll go ahead and release the hands from behind the head. And as we put both feet flat to the mat, let's prepare to do a little outer hip and outer thigh stretch. We'll go ahead and cross left knee over right, closing off the space between the thighs. We can open both arms out to the side, shoulder high with palms up. Now let's go ahead and roll the legs to the right, rolling onto right ribs and hip crest. Yet at the same time, can we allow left arm and shoulder to stay down towards the ground? We'll finish this spinal twist by exhaling to pull both knees up towards our right elbow to create lots of length in lower back. Now notice I'm not trying to squeeze my heels to my buttocks. Rather, there's lots of space between my heels and my backside. Because if I squeeze my heels to my buttocks, I'm tightening the very muscles that need to soften and lengthen to create my spinal twist. So create lots of space between your heels and your backside. And we'll finish our spinal twist by gently turning our head to the left. So that while knees go right, head turns left. And we're creating a gentle turn between each and every vertebra from our tailbone all the way up to the skull. As your right knee is sinking against your left calf, notice, does the weight of that right knee help the inside of your left leg gently sink a little closer to the mat? Really feeling that left outer hip and outer thigh stretch. Notice how left shoulder feels, where arm meets the body. If it's an uncomfortable stretch or if your arm's up in the air, be welcome to support that arm by putting a yoga block under the arm, or bend the left elbow and rest your hand to your shoulder to help make that shoulder more comfortable. Again, slow, smooth breaths. When you're ready, we can go ahead and on the exhale, use our abdominal muscles and maybe a little push of right arm against the floor to roll those crossed legs back to center at our chest. We can uncross the legs. And now after the left outer hip stretch, let's do another inner hip stretch by opening knees out to the sides. We can rest the soles of our feet against each other, and whether your hands hold your ankles or whether you use your yoga strap or perhaps a necktie or a nice soft belt like out of a bathrobe, we can loop that around the outer edges of our feet, using our strap to gently bring our ankles forward towards our heart center as we let knees open wide. Now we want to keep our tailbone flat to the mat. We're not pulling our lower back off the floor. This is inner hip, inner thigh stretch. And we can use the strength of our hands with or without the strap, the strength of our arms to help pull our ankles forward so that knees have room to open out. How's that inner thigh and inner hip stretch feeling? Are you using the slow exhale of your breath to gently release any discomfort you may find? When you're ready, we can release the strap. And as we bring the legs together, let's reverse the cross of the legs, crossing right leg over left, and then opening arms shoulder high. We will exhale and roll to our left side, rolling to lay on the hip crest. If you feel a big arch in the lower back, that means we need to pull those knees up closer to the elbow so that we have lots of length in lower back. And as legs go left, we turn our head right. Again, if front of right shoulder is uncomfortable, or if arm is off the mat because of tightness, put your yoga block under the arm to support it, or bend your elbow and rest your hand to your shoulder to support that shoulder. And breathe. Now notice all the space between my heels and my backside. I'm not trying to squeeze them in close because that makes these muscles tight. And I need those muscles relaxed so I can really focus on lengthening and stretching. So notice, do you want to slide your heels a little further away from your buttocks? Perhaps just an inch or two closer to the left wall. How's the stretch in the left side of your neck feel? Is it easier to turn your head to one direction than the other? We're going to roll back to center, perhaps pushing the left arm against the floor, pulling those crossed legs back to center. And again, we'll release the legs. One more time, our reclining bound angle pose with our feet up in the air. noticing how different this feels for lower back, inner hips and inner thighs than when we had the little toe edges of our feet resting to the floor. Lots of length in that lower back. Nice, slow breaths. And then when you're ready, let's go ahead and release our strap or our hands, putting both feet flat to the mat and relaxing our arms by our sides for a moment. When you're ready, we can gently roll to a sitting position, perhaps rolling to one side and protecting lower back by using hands and arms to help push us up to sit. Now we are going to do some strength for hamstrings and glutes. We just did a lot of length, so now we're going to strengthen them with a pose called reverse table. So as we're sitting, we want to have both feet flat to the floor, about hip width apart. I want to bring the palms of my hands down to the ground, fingertips pointing to you. Please do not turn your fingers away because that could be dangerous to elbows and wrists. So fingers turn to you. Hands are about hip width apart under the shoulders. Now, thigh muscles are bigger than arm muscles, so push with your feet, using your leg muscles to lift your hips up into a nice straight line from the knees to the shoulders. Feeling that strength in the hamstrings, the back of the thighs. Feeling that strength in the glutes, the muscles in our buttocks. In fact, if it helps, add a little squeeze to those glutes. And we breathe. This is a lot tougher than it looks, so when you're ready, gently exhale, come on down. And now we'll do a little core strength by balancing on our backside to do boat pose. If you would like, hold the legs, bringing your heels up in line with your knees, noticing the abdominal muscles working. If you feel like you have fairly strong abdominals, you can release the hands to the floor in front of or behind you, or perhaps bring your arms by your sides. And if you really want to challenge abdominal and quadricep muscles, extend out through the toes. Remember, breathe, please. We don't want to hold our breath. You may feel those abdominals quivering, and that's okay. Let's bend the knees. And again, we'll bring our feet flat. We'll bring our hands back, reverse table. Now, if this hurts the heels of your hands or your wrists, an alternate placement would be to make a fist and place knuckles down so wrist is straight, or to use your yoga blocks under your forearms to take all weight off the wrist. Okay? So again, let's push with the feet since thigh muscles are bigger than arms. Okay? So now hamstrings back of thighs, glutes back of butt are working. And as we lift our navel up towards the ceiling, no effort at all through those abdominals. However, are we feeling lots of stretch in the front of the shoulders? And then when you're ready, we can exhale, gently come on back down. Again, we'll do our boat pose, any variation that you want. If you're holding the legs, that's an absolutely valid boat pose. Just keep your heels in line with your knees. If you're touching the floor, again, valid boat pose, or arms by the sides, or legs extended. It's been said that if you count every single variation possible of every pose, you can come up with something like 3,000 yoga poses. And every variation is a valid pose, beneficial to people. When you're ready, come on down. And now from here, one last table pose, one last reverse table, lifting up. Now I know some of you out there are very strong. If you feel that you need more challenge, shift your weight to your right foot, raising flexed left heel to try to keep left knee in line with the right, not letting our butts droop, and then bring left foot down. Transfer your weight to that left foot and extend out through the right heel. Remembering this is an option to do or not do as you feel comfortable. Come on back down. Let's have a seat, and we'll extend the legs out in front of us. Legs worked hard, so let's rock the legs side to side. Shake the wrists a little bit. Getting rid of any discomfort in the wrists. As feet go side to side, can we alternate wrists up and down now? So legs are working together, feet going the same direction at the same time. How's our brain doing with make the hands go opposite directions? And are you still keeping that breath flowing in and out? All right, let's take a break. Okay, we're going to do some stretches for the back of the shoulders. We did some of those earlier, laying on our back. Now let's come over to hands and knees, and we'll do what's called thread the needle pose. Okay, so in hands and knees or table pose, wrists are under the shoulders, knees are under the hips, and we want a nice, long, neutral spine. If you have glasses on, it's probably better to take your glasses off. I'm going to do it facing the camera as I slide the back of my left hand behind the right wrist. I want to keep my hips above my knees. My right elbow bends, my torso twists to bring the point of my left shoulder either to a yoga block or cushion or all the way down to the yoga mat. You can bring right forearm to the mat if you would like. In fact, some folks like to extend that right arm out beyond the head so that while point of left shoulder is really supporting our weight and stretching, we get a little length through right ribs, right side of the waist. And we're breathing. Can you allow your lower back to point up to the ceiling? Yet allow your upper back and your chest to gently drift down to rest on that arm. So we're creating some back bend. Now experiment with the placement of your head. Perhaps lifting your head up off the mat a couple times. Seeing if perhaps you can let your temple, your ear, your cheek rest safely and easily to the floor, creating lots of length in the side of the neck. When you're ready, let's bring that right hand back in under our shoulder. Big breath in and exhale to unthread the needle, returning to our table pose. And we can just take a moment as we catch our breath to notice how left and right points of shoulders, ribs, sides of lower back, and neck feel. Now we'll reverse our thread the needle pose, and I'll do this one facing the camera. So this time you want to have the back of your right hand go behind your left wrist. We're doing a spinal twist through the waist. And then again, we're keeping hips above the knees. We don't want to let our hips sink towards the heels. Hips stay above the knees. And again, we're trying to let the whole right side of our head rest to the floor. Lots of length in the neck. Tailbone points up to the ceiling. Chest gently stretches and drifts down towards the ground. You can keep your left hand under your shoulder, or you can extend that left arm out beyond your head. If you extended right arm last time, please extend left arm this time, so that we maintain the balance of working each half of our body equally. Any possibility we can lay the tops of our feet a little flatter to the mat, enjoying the stretch through the shins, the fronts of the ankles, and the tops of our feet. When you're ready to come on out of your thread the needle pose, we'll go ahead and slide that left hand back under the shoulder, and on an exhale, come on back up to hands and knees. Okay, if you took your glasses off, you may want to go ahead and grab those glasses so that we can see. And now from here, let's go ahead. Can we come to stand without pushing off the floor with our hands? So however it works for you to come on up to a standing position. And today, let's go ahead and start at the head of our mat, what we call mountain pose, finding our perfect posture where our tailbone points down to the ground. And we're stacking ankles and hips and shoulders and ears so that everything is in balance. Let's go ahead, inhale, arms forward and up to extended mountain, trying to straighten through the elbows and the arms without hunching the shoulders up. Let those shoulders stay down. If we take our weight to our left foot, let's slide that right foot straight back, turning our right heel in just an inch to warrior one. There we go. Can you add a little squeeze to the right glute? Noticing, does that add a little more length to our hip flexor and to the top of our right thigh? From here, can we inhale to slowly lift up to the toes and exhale to slowly lower? Now, can we keep our shoulders above the hips as we raise and we lower? So that we're not tilting forward, we're going straight up and straight down. Notice what's happening through the toes and the arches of your feet, your calf muscles. And now from here, we'll straighten the legs. We'll open the arms. You are going to do a quarter turn to your right, and we are in position to do triangle pose. So our front left foot pushes our hips to the back, and we bend at that left hip, keeping a straight spine as we go from vertical to horizontal. That left hand can rest to thigh or shin. Now let's go ahead and lower the right arm, pointing past the right hip. Nice strong left leg as we raise the left arm to point past the crown of our head. Feeling those back of waist muscles on the right side of our body working. And then if you really want the challenge, an option is to raise right arm up across the head so that both right and left arms are extending beyond the crown of your head. Keeping that right armpit turned up to the ceiling. Your heart center is facing the side wall. Don't let yourself roll your chest down. Keep armpit up. And now let's inhale. Come on back up. We'll bend that front left knee. We'll turn through the torso, sweeping arms forward and up. We are back in our warrior one. And we exhale to step up. And let's do a gentle standing forward bend. Hands can rest to thighs, shins. If you prefer, use your yoga blocks. If you have longer legs than arms, use the blocks to bring the floor up to where your arms end. We can let the neck relax as crown of the head lifts. As crown of the head points down to the ground. Tailbones pointing up to the sky. Can we keep some weight towards the front halves of our feet, the balls and the toes, so that we keep our hips above we keep our heels above our hips. Okay, when you're ready, let's sweep the arms out and up, returning to our extended mountain. Shoulders relax down again. This time our weight goes to our right foot as we step our left foot back, reversing our warrior one. And then when we feel that we have the nice adjustment of our body and we feel good with our balance, again, we're stacking hips, shoulders, and ears. Notice, are you able to bring your arms back so that your elbows align with your ears? And then we'll inhale to lift up onto the toes of the left foot. And slowly exhale and lower down. Can we make the speed of our raising as slow as our inhale? And the speed of our lowering as slow as our exhale. Let's do 2 more. Noticing the strength in the calf muscles and then the length. Noticing the length in left groin where our body and our leg meet. And once we're back down, we'll open our arms shoulder high. We'll straighten the knee. This time for triangle, your quarter turn is to your left wall. And now it's the right leg that pushes so that we bend at right hip. Straight spine. Relax that right arm to rest a thigh or to shin. You can lean into the leg, or you can have the hand rest a side of the leg, depending on your body strength. If you would like, we can bring left arm down, pointing past the tailbone, making sure left shoulder's pointing up to the ceiling, not to your front. And then if you want to work a little harder, there's the option to extend right arm past right toes and right ear. And for those of you that are saying, please, can I work a little harder? That option is to bring left arm up across the head so that both arms are extending past the crown of the head and the toes. Remember, we hold the pose, yet breath still flows. Keep breathing. And we'll inhale to come on back up. We'll exhale to turn the torso, bend the knee. We're back to our warrior one. And we'll step up and exhale to our standing forward bend. Little stretch through hamstrings, glutes, lower back. Remember, in yoga, it's not important whether you can touch your ankles or your toes or the floor. That tends to be a function of body proportions. If you have long legs and a short torso or short arms, you may not reach the floor. I have the opposite. I have shorter legs and longer arms, so for me it's very easy to reach the floor. For someone who has the longer legs, it may be a lot tougher, so don't force it. When you're ready, we'll soften the knees. Let's sweep the arms out and up. We'll return to our extended mountain. And now today, let's round the arms and we'll do tree pose, okay? So as we're standing, take your weight to your right foot, letting right knee relax. For tree, we'll turn left knee out. And let's see if we can rest that left foot somewhere against the inside of the right leg. Legs are tired because they've worked hard, so you may want to keep the toes of the left foot to the floor. You may want to rest them to the ankle, to the calf, to the knee. Now to help with balance, I like to use a focal point. And that means I am looking at an object that does not move, and that's the only thing I look at. I also use muscle strength to help support me by pulling my belly button in towards my backbone and by gently squeezing the glutes together. And then when you're ready, exhale, come on down. How much stronger does right calf feel than left? Let's go ahead, if you'd like, gently roll through the shoulders and the toes, releasing any tension that we may have had in that pose. And let's try our tree to the opposite side. So we can come up to our extended mountain. Now, you don't have to do a round tree. You can have a pine tree down to the ground. You can also do hands to the heart in prayer pose. You can be a palm tree with the fronds out. You can be a pine tree with arms up. So experiment with whatever arm position you like. I personally am partial to an oak tree, probably because I'm kind of nutty. So let's turn that right knee out. Find your focal point, and it may have shifted a bit to the left now as our weight has gone to left foot, and then rest that right foot anywhere against the inside of the left leg that works for you. Now let's remember this is a chest opener, so can we bring the elbows and arms back a bit? Points of the shoulders back. Tree is also a hip opener. Can we bring that right knee out to the side a little more? And are we breathing? Are we focusing on our focal point to shut out all other distractions? And when you're ready, exhale, come on back down. And now do left and right halves of the body. Feel the same? Or do they feel different? If you like, roll through the shoulders, roll through the toes. Okay, good. Today, let's do a balance pose that's going to create a little strength in the tops of the thighs, and that is stork pose. In tree, we took the legs out to the sides. In stork, we're going to bring the legs slightly forward. So if you want, bring your arms up a little, bend at the wrist and the elbows like the wings of a bird. We'll sit back to our heels a bit, bending the knees. Now if your weight is to your right foot, show me the inside of your left ankle. Maybe you feel like Karate Kid. And again, let's think of pulling the belly button in towards the backbone so we're engaging our abdominal muscles. I'm also using my focal point again, and I'm thinking of pointing my tailbone down to my supporting right heel. Oh, and I'm also breathing. When you're ready, we'll release and come on down. If you want, roll through the shoulders and the toes. And let's see how our stork pose does when we take our weight to the left foot. So again, arms are up, weight is to the heel and to the left foot. And now we bring the right ankle up. And again, roll the shoulders back, what we call an outer rotation of the shoulders. Use your focal point. Bring your weight into the center line of your body by pulling that belly button in. Point your tailbone down to your supporting left heel. Bring your ears back above your shoulders. And I won't jinx you by saying, hey, we're doing great. So let's take a break. And last time, roll through the shoulders and the toes. All right. So we built some strength in the tops of the thighs with that pose. We've done inner hip, inner thigh stretch. We're going to do one more balance pose that will build strength in the top of the thighs and now give us some outer hip stretch. And that's eagle pose. So for eagle, feet are hip width apart. We'll gently shift our weight to our heels, coming to sit. Put your weight to your right foot. And now can we cross our left knee over our right? If your balance is shaky, left toes can stay to the floor or to a yoga block. If you want a little more challenge, sit a little deeper and see if those left toes will hook behind your right ankle or calf. And now we'll bring our arms up. We'll cross our right elbow into the crook of the left, seeing if we can bring back of hands or palms together. If elbows don't cross, let your left hand gently pull your right arm across the chest. And this is eagle. Again, I'm engaging the abdominals. I'm actively lengthening my lower back by pointing my tailbone down to that right heel again. And the lower you sit, the lower your center of gravity helps keep your pose a little more stable. Everybody still breathing? Let's inhale, come on up. Ah, and again, roll through the shoulders. Let's try the other side. Okay, so we bend the knees, weight goes to the heels. This time weight is to the left foot as we try to cross right knee over left. Again, toes can stay to the floor or yoga block for balance, or perhaps they may tuck. Since right leg is on top, left elbow comes up into the right. And again, we can bring backs of hands towards each other. Maybe you can wrap the arms around each other to bring the palms of the hands together. And again, think of tailbone pointing down to your left heel. Pulling your weight into the center line of your body by engaging the abdominals. And now enjoy that stretch across the upper back, between the shoulder blades and the points of the shoulders. And are we feeling any right or left outer hip stretch? When you're ready, inhale, come on up. And roll through the shoulders. Good job. That one's a toughie. Is your heart beating a little harder? Breath coming a little faster? Our quadriceps are the biggest, strongest muscle group in our body. And consequently, when we use them, they need the most energy. And that's why we breathe harder, why our heart beats harder and faster when we use those thigh muscles. Okay, so let's see if we can come back down to sit to our mat without using our hands. If you want, you can do mummy pose, or you can put your hands behind your head. Maybe an option is to bring one knee down and the top of that foot and then the other. And maybe we sit back and sit sideways and then bring those legs out in front. Maybe we did something else completely different. Maybe we used our hands. You do what you need to do to be safe. We're heading towards the end of our practice, so let's do a little mindful movement, something to really help us focus our attention to here and now. Can we alternately bounce the knees up and down? Can we roll both shoulders backwards? And at the same time, can we play the piano with right hand and stretch and squeeze the fingers of the left hand? Oh, and remember to breathe. If some of it works but not all of it, that's okay. The important thing is you are busy focusing on what you are doing rather than worrying about something that happened in the past or that may happen in the future. Now let's switch. Keep the knees going, shoulders rolling. Left fingers go up and down while right fingers open and close. And while breath flows in and out, there's no hurry with any of it. And when you're ready, take a break. Whew. We're going to gently roll back to a knee to chest pose, working our way back down in preparation for our closing relaxation. If you would like, you can slowly roll one vertebra at a time down to the ground, through the small of the back using those abdominals, and then the ribs, and the shoulders, and the head. And let's extend through the legs, coming back to Shavasana, our corpse pose, our resting position. In your corpse pose, again, if you'd like, sigh and just surrender your body to the support of the floor. You've worked hard for this past hour. So now we're balancing work with rest. And again, we'll turn our focus and our attention fully inward to ourselves. Just like at the beginning, can you enjoy the feel of your breath? And can we take all the time that we need? Maybe 4 to 6 to 8 seconds on the inhale to fill our lungs from the bottom, through the middle, and up to the top. And then on the exhale, take all the time that you need. Maybe 6 to 8 to 10 seconds to empty those lungs completely. Long, slow breaths in. Giving our body that vital, life-giving oxygen. And longer, slower breaths out. Not only releasing stale air, but perhaps also releasing any last effort or tension that you may be holding in any of your muscles or your joints. In fact, let's again, like we did at the beginning, scan through our bodies from head to fingers to toes, noticing what we feel and where we feel it. Noticing what parts of our bodies feel the same now as they did when we first started. Noticing what parts feel better, whether better means more relaxed, or more limber, or stronger, or just less uncomfortable. And as we let ourselves just surrender into the support of the floor, in the darkness behind your closed eyes, perhaps picture yourself on a tropical island. You're in a lagoon that's protected from the rough waves. The water's a beautiful, clear shade of blue. The sky above you is a beautiful, bright blue. Bright white sand is at the beach. And stands of palm trees grow here and there along the beach. Perhaps picture yourself floating on a blow-up mat or a little blow-up raft in the lagoon. Maybe you're letting your fingers hang off the side of that little raft, trailing in the water. The breeze blows the gentlest of waves into the water. And we can feel our inflatable raft gently rising and sinking with those soft waves. We feel the warmth of the sun on our bodies. We enjoy the kiss of the soft breeze that keeps us comfortable. The sound of the waves as they roll onto the beach create a soothing rhythm, peaceful in its repetitiveness. And we just allow all of our worries and our cares to fall away. Using all of our senses to enjoy this beautiful moment. In your mind's eye, can you see the blue sky and water? Can you see the brown trunks of the palm trees with their green fronds? The white sand? Can you feel the warmth of the sun and the breeze? Can you smell the salt air and hear the waves? This is like having your very own private tropical retreat. And you can return to here whenever you want. It'll always be there for you. So enjoy how good it feels. Whenever you feel that you're ready to gently come back to the present time and place, we can begin to let the senses, the sense of feel, notice those places where our bodies rest against our mat. We can allow our eyelids to gently drift open. And as our awareness returns to here and the now, let's gently start to bring a little movement back into our bodies. Perhaps wiggling fingers and toes, and then moving hands and wrists. Letting that movement spread out into feet and to ankles. Maybe we can rock our arms and our legs back and forth until eventually you feel that you're ready to carefully roll to one side. If you'd like, take a moment in our fetal position, just enjoying how good you feel. And whenever you're ready, hands and arms can gently press us back up to sit. And hopefully, we feel a whole lot better now than we did when we first came to our yoga mat. So I'd like to thank everybody, those of you who are here in person, as well as those of you who are joining us on our YouTube channel. Thank you for joining us. Yoga at the Community Arts Center. If you'd like to join us in person, call 814-255-6515. We'll be glad to see you Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1 o'clock and Tuesday evenings at 6. So thank you, everybody. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you, thank you.